Another deadly day in Gaza, with at least 80 Palestinians killed in Israeli strikes across the Strip. 33 people were killed when an airstrike struck a popular cafe in Gaza City known as a refuge for journalists. MEE's correspondent in Gaza, Maha Hosseini, reports from the site of the attack.
This is one of the few remaining coffee shops in Gaza City following 21 months of relentless Israeli bombardment that devastated most of the Strip's leisure venues in Gaza City. People were turning to this coffee shop, to this place, for a short respite amid the relentless and escalating Israeli attacks. Yesterday, it was bombed by Israeli forces, leaving this big hole in one of the sides of this coffee shop. Around 33 Palestinians were actually killed during the attack, according to Gaza's Ministry of Health, including journalists and artists. For example, 32-year-old photojournalist Ismail Abu Hatab was killed in the attack, in addition to female boxer Malak Mislih, also a Palestinian visual artist Amina Al-Salmi was killed in the attack. In addition to these, dozens of people were injured, including Palestinian female journalist Bayan Abu Sultan. Here, people were actually taking a short moment of relief amid the attacks. For example, here in this very place was a birthday party for a 2-year-old Palestinian child. Her mother came with the child and the family to celebrate what they call a fake birthday without a birthday cake due to the Israeli closure and blockade that left no food items across the Strip. This is the teddy bear that the mother brought to the child. Both the mother and the child were killed in the attack, in addition to other family members. Here, we can see the decorations of the table where the birthday was taking place when the airstrike shook the place.
Donald Trump has signed an executive order to formally end sanctions on Syria. The US president had initially made the announcement during a speech in Saudi Arabia back in May, before meeting with Syria's new president, Ahmed al-Sharaa. The Syrian government had been under heavy US sanctions for decades, predating the outbreak of the Syrian civil war in 2011. The executive order Trump signed would now review the US's 1979 designation of Syria as a state sponsor of terrorism. Syria Foreign Minister Asad al-Shibani says this will open the door of long-awaited reconstruction and development.
Tell you is that this afternoon the president will be signing an executive order to terminate the United States sanctions program on Syria, and this is in an effort to promote and support the country's path to stability and peace. The order will remove sanctions on Syria while maintaining sanctions on the former President Assad, his associates, human rights abusers, drug traffickers, persons linked to chemical weapons activities, ISIS and their affiliates, and Iranian proxies.
The UK's High Court has ruled that exports of F-35 fighter jet parts to Israel are not illegal. The court rejected a challenge brought by Global Legal Action Network and Al-Haq, which sought to halt the export of British-made jet parts following a 20-month court battle. Judges ruled that ultimately it was up to Parliament to decide whether the UK was required to withdraw from the multilateral defence collaboration under which the F-35 parts were sold. MEE's senior investigative reporter Danya Akkad was at the High Court.
We're here at the Royal Courts of Justice today, where there's been a ruling in the case that Glan and Al-Haq have brought against the UK government. Originally, when the case began in October 2023, the goal of Glan and Al-Haq was to stop all arms exports to Israel. But along the way, the Labour government was elected, and soon after they were elected, they suspended around 30 licenses for arms exports. At that time, the case shifted and became focused on F-35 parts that were being shipped to a global pool that would then be shared with Israel. So UK made parts that could end up in Israeli F-35 planes. That became the focus of the case. Today, the judges ruling on the case have said, essentially, it's not in their power, it's not part of their remit to decide whether or not the UK should be part of the F-35 program, and that's for the Parliament and for voters to decide. They've kicked it back to Parliament, and on all grounds, they have rejected what Glenn and El Haq have raised.